All right, so now we are officially live for our new edition of Weekly Market Outlook. It is Sunday, September 15th. Shout out to everybody who is here live with us right now, and shout out to anybody watching this recording via the chats, YouTube, etc. Excited to kick off a brand new week in the markets, and we got none other than Mr. Brent Badal with his fire new backdrop ready to kick things off this week. So I'm gonna let you do your thing, bro. Let's run it.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, you guys know it's serious. Like Rich said, when the weather comes out, you guys know when the guy comes out with the guy in the suit, it's because we got some serious weather coming. So I'm that guy with the suit. We got some serious weather here. We have some really, really good news happening this weekend. Really excited for what's happening. Now, just a quick little reminder for those that are new with news. I don't fall in love with the actual news of what is being said. I always say that that's a lot of times smoke. We're going to go based off what the actual charts are telling us, really going off that market structure, going off that smart money concept, everything that we have here in akashx from our strategies from each educator. But it's important to know really what's going on at the time that's happening of the news, so we could be ready, one, to trade it, or two, if you have your TradexMastery account, you received your free 10K that we're still giving away right now. If you received your free 10K account, you cannot trade news. So it's those things to know. And then overall, you might not be able to trade news at that specific time with your account right now, but that doesn't mean that that's information, that move, that pull that's going to happen won't help you actually be able to take a trade a little bit after, right? And just know where overall the market's going, because the majority of us still right now in akashx are from here from the United States. But even if you're outside of the United States, the dollar still is something important, most likely for your currency. So it's just something still to know where we're going. I know I'm not a financial advisor, but I've been saying this for the entire year now, really October, starting October, count maybe 4 to 6 months. It's going to get a little bit turbulent with what's going on to the market. Of course, we have elections, a lot of things going on. But yeah, we're going to get to it. So tomorrow, Empire State Manufacturing. Forecast obviously something normal, 7:30. So really to me, what this means is that gold and NAS, especially gold, likes to make a move at 7:30 Central Standard Time, as it is. It likes to make a nice little push for 15, 20 pips sometimes at that moment. Well, this will actually help us get a little bit of a stronger move. It's not something that I'm going to be super like aware of and I want to excited to trade it, but it's more of just knowing, hey, my normal 7:30 move might get a little bit more of a push. Hey, this 7:30 move might actually set us up for a bigger move for opening bell an hour later. So Monday we're pretty chill. Tuesday we start getting into a little bit more, right? And Wednesday, I saw somebody in the chat said Wednesday, right? Wednesday is definitely the day I'm more excited for. But even Tuesday, we have core retail sales, we have retail sales, capacity utilization, industrial business. So like as you can see, there's a whole lineup of news. Really, the only one is retail sales, core retail sales. This one, I mean, as you know, like regardless of how money's coming in, there's always money coming out. Like retail will always be there. We have to spend. So again, it's nothing that I'm like super excited waiting for to trade. But again, it's happening at 7:30. It's just the importance of knowing when the market is moving anyways, and then what extra help we're getting. So again, it's that excitement of like, oh, great, my 7:30 move that I normally take anyways, because the market likes to make a little bit of a push, it's going to push a little bit harder. It's going to pull a little bit harder. So excited for that based off the time that that's happening. But Wednesday, we start getting into the fun side of things, right? Federal fund rates. So last week, those who traded with us, you saw we had a huge move when we had the federal budget balance. Federal budget balance, and this is, I think, the real first like true sign that we could be hitting that big R word, or at least we could be seeing something big happen right now in the market, right? So typically when it comes to federal budget balance, it's just the balance that the feds have based off funds to spend, right? It's negative as every single month, right? Every report, it's negative, but it's always goes from one month to another, maybe 10 billion more in debt, 20 billion more in debt. 30, and this month was actually projected to go from $40 billion more in debt. Who knows? But I guess we're in debt with somebody, right? So they're going in debt more with $40 million. Well, that $40 billion actually turned into almost $120 billion. And we had a massive move. And what's crazy is that news was actually set for one and it happened around like 7:45 in the morning. And it disrupted the market completely. And then from that moment is when we saw gold hit that all-time high, that new all-time high. We saw NAS skyrocket too. We saw a lot of stocks do what they had to do. everything happened really at that moment because that was a pivotal moment to where it's like, okay, yo, what's going on? Like, huge difference. It wasn't no 10, 20, 30 billion dollars. It was $100 billion more in debt in the matter of 30 days from the Fed. So we're looking at now the federal fund rates. Maybe something similar. I will say be very aware of the market when it comes to Wednesday. This possibly could come out a little bit earlier, just like the federal budget balance, and it could go up pretty drastically too, right? It's looking at right now to be 5.50% to 5.25 to actually drop it, but based off what happened last week, I highly doubt it. Again, it's the Feds, they could do whatever they want. Cool. We are just going to make sure that at 1 o'clock we are ready for it. If you received a free 10K, if you're looking to sign up today and receive your free 10K with akashx for the person that invited you to this call, well, you're going to have a free 10K account to trade on TradexMastery, but you cannot trade at 1 o'clock. So make sure your trades are closed, right? If you do have the bonus add-on, well, be ready for it. This is going to be definitely a crazy one. Be ready for it for sure. I'm excited just because, again, this is really going to paint up. I'm not only excited based off what's going to happen and what we could do in the market with this, but this is really kind of painting that picture of last week, that continuation of, okay, where are we going in the next 4 to 6 months, just overall economic speaking, right? Where are we going when it comes to that? So excited for that happening. We have FOMC projection, statement, press conference, all that good stuff all happening at 1. Prior to that, we have building permits, housing permits. That happens at 7:30. Another one that I'm excited, and I've been saying this forever, and I know I sound like a broken here CD, right? That just keeps on going over and over again. But housing markets really, guys, is the true, in my opinion, the true indicator if we're going to hit that big R. If we're going to go really into a downfall at that point, is the housing market, and we need to pay attention to the housing market. So building permits is important, housing starts is important. Again, I'm not excited to trade it. Cool, it's happening at 7:30. It might give us a little bit more of a push or a pull, but I'm just really intrigued right now with the housing market as far as where is it going to go, especially after what we saw in the balance, what's going to happen right after to the federal funds. A lot of things happening right now. So housing market is always something that I want to pay attention to just to be ready. Thursday, unemployment claims. Unemployment claims this year has turned into the new FOMC. FOMC, it's turned into the new CPI, PPI. It moves fast. I absolutely love it. And at what time is it happening? 7:30. So again, this week I love it because it's just setting up to be such a good week to our 7:30 move. It's going to be so strong. So we'll have a strong 7:30 move, strong 8:30 move, and then we still have news for the rest of the day. So same situation here for Thursday, right? Unemployment, 7:30, big move. Philly Fed at the same time, 7:30, big move. Existing home sales at 9, which is 30 minutes after the opening bell, should really give a good continuation to that opening bell. Thursday's going to be a really good day. Wednesday's going to be exciting to see those big candles up and down and get that adrenaline rush. But really, Thursday to me is going to be a really good day as far as we get on that right rhythm, on that right wave, and we could ride that wave all morning in the market. Like it's going to be a really strong day when it comes Thursday. So make sure you're following your trading plans because this could be a situation where you could be knocked out quickly. And if you want to go and start revenge trading, you could get completely wiped out. But on the other side, you're on that wave, you're on the right rhythm. You could go ahead and, yeah, being recorded. I can't say what you want to say, but you already know what I'm trying to say, right? With Thursday. So I'm excited for Thursday for sure. And we wrap up the week Friday. Nothing really Friday other than just Parker speaking, but I mean, I don't know who you are, bro, but whatever. Nothing nobody really worries about when you speak. So nothing really happening there at that point. But it is to me, like I always say, correction Fridays. We have a big week. So depending where that week kind of takes us and wherever the market, the institutions want to end, it's going to correct. So we could see a big Friday too, as far as like a rally, right? Where it needs to go up, either it needs to go down or up, but really no big news when it comes to Friday. But that is it for me as far as the news, guys. Again, we have a lot just important for you, especially if you're new and you kind of really know what I'm talking about right now. Again, this is just something you're going to learn throughout time here with us. And for right now, for you, just the important thing to know is pay attention to what time this is happening. There is a calendar inside your akashx app, and there's Forex Factory, as you can see, forexfactory.com, and take it serious. That's just the biggest thing. If it's with your first week, I want to make sure that you take this serious and you understand, hey, I received my free 10K and I know that it says there that I can't trade red candles and it says that I can't trade red folders and it says I can't trade unemployment at 7:30, well, I'm going to make sure that I put an alarm on my phone to remind me at 7:20, 7:15, and it just says close all trades, news, right? Just to make sure that I take this serious. Because again, quick little reminder here, you're going to have educators that are going to send tap the trades, that are going to send trade alerts, they're going to live trade regardless of what's going on. Like I myself love trading news. So I don't know if you have the bonus or not. You know what I mean? So it really falls onto you to make sure that you have the awareness of what time this news is happening. It may not be to trade it, it may not be to understand what's going on, but just to make sure that you follow the rules on your prop firm and your free 10K, so you do not lose it based off that rules. And on the contrary, you do what we're all here to do, which is to get funded. So that's it for me. Right now on this part, I'll pass it back to you, Rich, so we can continue with the rest of the charts.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, we got a question here real quick. It says, so I can live trade. I'm not sure the
But live
confusion.
account can't trade news? Is that one? Tay? I think that was the question, right? If that was the question, on
I
your live
mean,
account,
mhm.
a live account like Trident, you could trade news if you want to. Just make sure that you know what you're doing. That's the
I,
biggest thing.
I think they might mean like when they get the actual live funded.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So if you have a live like Trident account, cool, no rules. If you went through TradeX and you have your phase one, phase two, and now you're in the funded live, when you're in the funded live, you still have the same rules. So
Yeah.
you still have 5% drawdown a day, 10% drawdown in total. If you don't have the weekend holding up, then you can't do that. If you don't have the news, you can't do that. So just keep in mind that those rules stay the same. But for example, like John, when you said Trident, you're good, bro. So with
Yeah.
you with Trident, you have no rules. It's all free, but just again, just because you don't have rules doesn't mean you could go crazy either, bro. So make sure you understand what you're getting into. I love news. I love news. Don't get me wrong. That's why I pay the add-on. I love it, but I know that I'm getting to a position to where I could get swipe right through, like I could slip. There's something called slippage. My stop loss could slip right through and I could burn my entire account. I know the risk that I'm taking when I trade news, right? So for Trident, understand you don't have rules. For TradexMastery, if you have, when you purchased your account, whatever add-on that you purchased, like news, weekend, whatever, it's going to work for every phase and for the live. If you didn't purchase anything, it's going to do the same thing. So you're not going to be able to do those even if you're live funded.
Cool. All right. Awesome. So let's go ahead and dive into some analysis here, guys. And we're going to kick it off with gold as usual. Now, if you guys have been following along like Sunday to Sunday, whether it's the actual lives or whether you're doing, hold on, let me reshare because I don't think that's shared correctly. All right. So like I was saying, if you guys have been following along like every Sunday, or at least the recordings, you kind of know how we've been tracking NAS and gold. And I say this like all the time because I just want to make it clear, like I'm not actively trading gold myself or sending trade alerts or anything like that, simply because we just have literally like every other educator in the world in akashx like trading gold. So I don't want to be another person throwing gold trades in there. I think we already have an amazing team of gold traders as it is. However, I like to at least give you guys my perspective, which has been obviously very spot on for sure when we correlate it with Brent. As far as like overall trend, direction, the bias that we have for the week, etc., has been on point. Again, you guys can go back week to week where we've talked about 2480 being a very important price point because it's that key level. We've seen it respect and create really nice buy opportunities off of that. We mentioned last week, I believe, that we had this other sub key level at 2525, 2527, give or take, that has been like very crucial. And we've seen that level completely break through, creating a really strong buy opportunity, right? So as far as I'm concerned, obviously we are now in all-time high territory, when it comes to gold. So whenever we are in all-time high territory for absolutely anything, guys, you have to understand that we have nothing historical to base our analysis off of unless we start returning to prior prices, right? So, sometimes people are like, oh, what do you guys think about gold, et cetera, et cetera? first of all, it doesn't matter what we think because we don't control the markets, right? Even if it's not at an all-time high. So always remember, guys, that every strategy, every way that we kind of analyze a market is just based off of patterns. It just really depends on the strategy, but nobody ever really knows what the market is going to do, obviously. For newer people, they may think that there's a way to know, but there's just no way to know. So all we do is look for high probability things, right? So when we are at all-time highs, all that we have are question marks, right? We literally don't know if this thing is just going to keep going, if it's going to turn around. So what I say in these situations is like, again, if you have a very specific strategy that's like scalping and you're looking at certain indicators or something like that, that may be something to kind of advise you to get into something like a new trade. For me, I go off of price action, market structure, just literally the information that we see in the form of candles. So even though I have this all marked up, all this really is, if I turn this off, is just me looking at price, right? And when I start to look at price, I start to look at things like this, where we have a point where the market has respected many, many times. We've seen it break. You can say this is like a support and resistance level, right? I personally don't use that terminology because of the like you're implying that you're going to sell or buy off of it. All I know is that this is a level that price respects, where if we stay under it, we've seen it push to these lows. And when we come above it, we've come up to these highs. Now that we are above that key level of 25, let's call it, right? This is where I would actually want to wait to be looking to take opportunities because I have historical context already. Not that long ago, right? This is literally like last couple of weeks. So it's not like historical data from a long time ago, but from last week or whatever the case is, we already know that that level has been respected and tested. So we can expect something maybe like how we had this play where price was kind of like pushing below. And once we got a nice clean break above, we respected that level and we were able to buy off of it. The same thing would be what I would look for right now at 25.25. Right now, this is no man's land for me. Again, you might see other traders call something because they're looking at this on a very small time frame. They have indicators telling them something or whatever. That's a different story. But if we're talking straight price action, understanding the trend, all of those things, very clearly we are bullish. We're making new higher lows and higher highs. So overall, you should be buying more than you're selling in this type of condition. It doesn't mean that you're not going to see any gold sells or that we can't catch any gold sells, but ultimately you are counter trend trading right now if you're trying to sell gold. Why? Because, I mean, come on, it's very obvious. If we just keep zooming out and out and out, we have just been going up and up and up and up and up. So if you try to fight history, if you try to fight the momentum, if you try to fight where the energy is at right now, you're going to have a hard time. You want to go with what the major institutions and the world is doing right now, which is driving up the price of gold. Again, this is a higher time frame perspective. So if we're looking at a 5-minute chart, a 1-minute chart, something like that, fine. Yes, we can find small moves to go ahead and maybe sell gold at some very specific points. But overall, if you guys want to end up catching a very big trade or you want to be able to hold a trade for a longer time and really squeeze a lot out of it, you're better off buying at that 25.27, 25.25 level. So for now, again, I personally would be looking for sells eventually back into this price point because this is where we've seen price gravitate towards in the past, and I expect price to revisit this at some point. So at that point, like I would say my favorite type of pattern to catch reversals, if I'm going to be taking a reversal or counter trend trade, is we actually want to see price kind of like start making those little lows and start getting an actual big push to the upside and start seeing those lows breaking, right? Those shift of structures, because that's going to be our early signs to then go ahead and sell. And this is where I would be targeting, where we've seen price gravitate towards before. So yes, I would be looking for sells in order to take us down to here, even though that is against the major trend, if I'm trying to force something right now. Now, my ideal trade for the week that I think has the highest probability and can turn into a big swing trade is if we catch the price coming lower, right? And then we start to break back above. Well, let me make that a little bit cleaner. If we can get price to come into this area and then actually shift back above, that's where I would really like to take a trade and make new highs again, just kind of following the momentum and overall time frame. So yeah, basically sell into 25.25, buy off of there, unless we come into 25.25, get a small bounce and break below again, then I would actually want to sell that to the next key level. And that's basically how I've always traded, especially gold or anything other than NAS, where I have a very specific strategy for. I think as a beginner, especially if you guys kind of like zoom out, look at a little bit higher time frame, and trade from key level to key level, that's a very simple thing to do. And then over time, you can start to implement other strategies and stuff that you learn from either Brent or whoever. But that's really what I got for gold. Brent, you want to pull up your charts or what you want to do?
You can leave yours there, bro, just because it's literally very similar, right? So for me, it's such a tough situation, like you're saying, because it's so bullish,
Mm-hmm.
and I love selling. I love my bears. So the only thing that I'm seeing as far as sales is that on the day chart and the 30-minute chart, we have a fifth Elliott wave, and when the market opened, it respected it. So I didn't send it to akashx because it goes against a lot of my like the responsible educator, Brent. So I didn't send it, but the YOLO me is currently in a sell. I'm in a sell. My stop loss is 87. So that even goes, it's breaking my 3 up, 3 down rule, as you can see. So that's why I'm not sending it to akashx, right? But if you guys know what you gotta know, and if you feel comfortable, low risk, whatever, I'm not sending this. But if you take it to it, the hits, shout me out on Instagram. But I'm in a sell right now. My stop loss is basically above whatever that, a little bit above that top one. So it is, let me see exactly what it was. It 87.50 is my stop loss. Like literally it's right above that last wick, basically what it is of the last one. Because if it breaks that wick, then it breaks the fifth wave and it doesn't respect. And my take profit is 25.28. So literally, like I said,
Oh
we're
yeah,
basically
easy.
on point.
Okay.
So we're literally on point. Like if and what has me liking this, but the thing is, like I wish that we would have had the news that we have coming up sooner. So the news that we have right now is the biggest one, the federal fund rates, right? The only thing that could save the dollar right now is if the feds come up and they lower the rates overall. They lower the rates for the housing, which they did like 2 weeks ago or something like that out of nowhere, which is super weird. We have obviously politics and elections and the current presidency is
Yep.
going for another run. So like there's a lot of political stuff that could happen there where if we see the rates drop and we see the housing rates drop, which incentivizes the builders to get more permits, it'll be very strong for the dollar. And that can make a big push. And then if you look at it in the trading side, if you go back to your chart, please, I love what you were saying, right? Your buy. I think now we're gonna be stuck in between that 25, 28, 25, 25, 25, 30, and then those 25.90, right? Like that's gonna be our new, if you saw last week, guys, it bounced from 24.80 to 25.30, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think this week we'll do the same thing, right? We'll start setting up a new level of back and forth above. So for that, we need a drop. Like it would be beautiful. Like we could have such an amazing week if we have basically a repetition of last week of back and forth in this area, but we need that to drop. And that's really the only reason that could help the dollar. But if we get no interest rate cuts or if they go even higher and more situations happen like we had last week and all this stuff, then we're just gonna keep on building new highs and we're gonna break above that 59.90. And where are we going? Who knows? Like are we just gonna go to 610 in Balfour? We're gonna go to 630. Like we just there is no number at that point. Other thing I could see us getting tricked out, if anything, is institutional numbers because gold likes it just like NAS likes it, and we're really close to that 2600.
Yep.
So that's another one that has me like, like, can we get spiked and then drop like with the news? So, but yeah, I'm with you on that one. So I'm in that. We'll see what happens. Like I said, it's definitely a risky one. I didn't send it to akashx for that reason, but we shall see, bro. We shall see.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, guys, again, we've covered gold before, and, I mean, always, but in the last weeks, talking about the importance of key levels and how that really is the cheat code for finding those sensitive areas that make these pushes. And I think that we have a good game plan, for trades around here. And you can see Brent's energy, right? When he's talking about trading around this level, it's a lot more certainty compared to where we're at right now. So the only thing we could really, rely on is just kind of like that fake impulse and shift of structure, maybe, looking at some other smaller time frame indicators or scalping that kind of really give you that sell entry signal. But again, my most comfortable area for sure would be kind of like what we just talked about in this area, either taking it above or continuing below from there. So we shall see, as Brent said. Now let's look at NAS100. So this is something that this is like the one and only thing I actually actively trade. And we're back to that magical number that we've been talking about forever, 19,500. So our push below did not last much long after our last conversation, where we did start seeing that really strong break and a really nice move to the downside. Now, these little dots, guys, that you guys see mapped out here on my chart is just basically showing where price has gone once we've crossed over 19,500, either above or below, right? So originally, this is where we started really testing 19.5. We got to this high before we retraced. And once we retraced, we saw that initial push to the all-time high here, retraced here, made this high, and then that's where we started shifting below, right? So anything above 19.5, guys, if we have targets in mind, would be where has price gone before, right? We've gone to about 19,980. We've come to all-time highs, and then you have like these sub levels here as well. For the most part, you're either in this general vicinity right here or all-time high territory. That's if we're going to stay above. Personally, I think we have some unfinished business to the downside. You guys know, like, I look for areas of supply and demand, and I love looking for them in the form of wicks on the higher time frames. And I would consider the 4-hour kind of like that beginning threshold of what I consider a higher time frame. I think that's a really good sweet spot, especially for indices. And we could see we did have buys that we talked about earlier this week with the Liberty strategy, where we started buying above this price point, kind of taking it up to fill this imbalance in the markets, which that has been achieved. And we are back again at that 19,500 level. But this wick, we just have not come back to test it. And basically, this is, for me, a big area of manipulation where the market really tried reacting off this supply zone, kind of got an initial reaction, which ended up being kind of like the springboard for price to come up, right? Before we get a really big push up, we usually get a nice fake to the other way, and then we get the move. And so whenever that happens, there's like unfinished business, basically, is what I will call it here, where price has not mitigated this move, or basically retesting it to kind of close out some orders that generated the fake out. It's a very it's a smart money concept that I've used. And either we like to look for trades off of that area, which we will, but we're not there yet. So kind of like how gold, it's a very similar situation where we have that key level that we really like, but we're above it. So we know it's going to go to that level. So that means we got to look for trades getting to there, right? It's kind of the same thing here. Key level 19.5. We know that key levels are going to be where we expect a really big move from. So I'm not saying it will go down, but if I had to pick a bias for the week, I would be anticipating for us to get back down to 18,840 to 18,600, somewhere in this vicinity. But I don't want to just sell right now, right? I'm going to wait until New York session tomorrow. I have a very specific strategy trading out of Asia, for NAS. So assuming that this low kind of holds, which it probably won't, if we can just form a zone somewhere around here, what I would really want to see is price, again, actually fake us out the other way first, and then make that strong shift, and then really look to sell that back down until we get to that level. This is most likely going to be the first setup for me of the week for NAS. And then once we're at this 18,800 level, right, somewhere in this vicinity, I'm going to be looking for that reversal pattern to buy back up to this level. So that will be like the second one, right? Now, when they're going to come, I don't know. Obviously, we got high impact news on Wednesday, but I think it's Wednesday, right? Yeah, FOMC. Yeah. But we do have red folder on Tuesday, so who knows? But I don't know, man. I think we might just get it tomorrow. So I'm bearish for NAS as an expectation, but I am open-minded to us kind of like faking out to the downside, coming back up, and then looking for buys. That is always a potential. I don't see that happening. So original sketch, I'd be looking for something like that. Trade around here. So that's what I see for now, bro. I don't know what your perspective right now with Nas is.
Same for me, it's a little bit weird right now. I mean, obviously, I went into a gold trade, which I normally don't do, but because it's at that all-time high, it changes a little bit, right? The factor.
Yeah.
But this one, obviously, I'm not going into nothing right now. And the biggest reason why I'm kind of like, like you, right? Like, makes sense to go down, but at the same time, like, what the hell? When it opened today, the market opened bullish, broke above the 500, went to like 30 something, I think it was. If you look on the shorter time frame, you see it went to like 537, I think, something like that. I
Yeah.
was like, oh sweet, we're gone. Like we're gone. The way that if you look at it in a time frame, we're gone. And the next, 5 minutes later, it's done. It's like, wait, what? Like, what the hell? Like, what's going on here? So
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be something tricky in a sense to where it kind of opened up, gave that bullish momentum. You get a lot of people that do swing trades, kind of get their buys in and then just wipe them out, and then we actually go down, or it went up. A lot of people got in, a lot of retail get in, they bring them down to stop point where we are now, and then it does that break and goes. So overall, it makes sense for it to drop for what you're saying, right? We have that money trapped on the bottom that we need to get. We've seen it where a lot of times there could be money trapped there for weeks, sometimes at a time, right? But based off how NAS has been moving with the news that we have, everything going on, we should come grab that money below. Like I don't see it leaving now and leaving that money there below. So overall, I'm more bearish for that reason. But I think we could get wicked out and it could buy just for how it opened. It was really tricky the way that it opened like that, so high that then to go down and to level off and now it's back on it. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah.
giving me a weird vibe right now to where I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna wait. I probably won't even trade NAS tomorrow. I'll wait till Tuesday, kind of let it chill, do what it has to do. I'll stick with gold right now, which kind of sucks because I love NAS, especially in the mornings to scalp it. It makes the days go so well when you can take care of your morning right away and then enjoy the rest of the day with NAS. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll be wait if you do send that alert tomorrow, bro, I'll be waiting for it for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. And so you guys can understand the perspective of like the market structure and everything that I'm looking for here. Like, again, 19.5 is when all else fails with whatever you guys are trading. If you just literally zoom out to a 4 hour and you just look at where has price touched a lot, you're gonna get a good sense of where things can go. Like that is the easiest advice I can probably tell you guys if you feel lost on the charts. A lot of times when you feel lost is when you're looking at the small time frame because again, 4 hour, this looks so clean. Like let's if I turn off all the drawings here, right, and we just look at where has price touched the most, we could see like just turning this back on, touches, 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 touches. And you can see big decisions being made off that level, whether it's pushing to these highs or pushing to these lows. Like big moves are happening there. Now, if we look at like our last piece of price action, like from 19.5, we saw that, again, I had a willingness to go lower because price was really failing to kind of break all these highs. We got that big push, make another big push, and then another big push. But where, things shifted was once we started breaking above the highs on like the 1 hour, the 30 minute, where if we kind of mark them off with, these dots, for example, like here, here, right? Price came to this low. Eventually, with this big, news move right here, we started shifting back above, shifting back above. So that's why I think overall we will get the drop into here. And I think this is going to be my favorite place to look for trades. I think we can get some really strong buys from that point. But again, we're going to go counter trend right now. At least for me, like with my bias, I just need proof of it first, right? Anytime you guys are going to trade, especially counter trend, wait for proof. Because a lot of times what used to mess me up with jumping into trades early was because I anticipated the right direction, but my timing was off because I was trying to like predict versus react. Personally, that's what I've learned that's messed me up in the past was I would get the direction right, but the timing was slightly ahead of schedule. And it's because I wasn't waiting for proof that we're shifting. So what that proof looks like, guys, is just literally market structure showing you. Like, hey, if we're making, like we had this high, then this high, then this high, and now this high, right? We can easily see more highs like coming into the session. We don't know how much higher this can keep pushing, right? But what we want to see is price kind of, maybe make another high and then really start to break aggressively below. And whenever you get that first big drop, especially on indices, be careful with trusting that first drop sometimes, guys, because I will tell you, like, that's what usually creates the big moves later. Like for example, this huge quote unquote drop right here. At that point in time for Nas, you're like, oh, dude, this thing is gonna sell off because price was already kind of pushing low. You had this little retracement. I have this big drop, right? Those big drops on Nas, they love to set up what ends up being like a really nice buy later. But again, it's because we react to the first big candle that the market prints. And then you can literally give it one more candle. Like a lot of times you give it one more candle and you'll kind of be like, okay, right? So that's what I'm basically looking for. And this is what makes the manipulation so clear for me, is when we get something that was so obviously bearish just completely turn the other way. It's like, how, right? And that's the evidence of, okay, this is what I say, there's unfinished business here. Because how did we just create such a big drop and then out of nowhere we just shifted the other way? There's transactions there. So that's what I anticipate for us to get back to close out whatever business was, happening there. But the same approach now for how we go for these sells is the same way that we saw buys kind of like spike insanely to the downside and then push up. I want to see the opposite happen where, I want to see price actually shoot higher where everybody's like, oh, we're breaking above 19.5, super bullish. Let's jump in. Give it one more candle. You'll probably see it do this. Now, once we get that move, we'll always get some type of retracement. And then when we get that second break, that's when I really like to trust it and then go. Right. Obviously, these are all hypotheticals right now. God knows how it's gonna happen. But our setups, our signature things that we look for never really change. If you guys follow us long enough, like it's always the same stuff over and over. So we'll see. But yeah, man, that's what I have planned for this week for Nas. Just looking for sells below 19.5 and then buying off 18.8 to take us back higher. So those will be the two sweet spots for me, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as analysis. I don't know if you want to cover any last minute topic there. Or...
No, but I guess just the biggest thing, as we know, just plug into your chats, opportunity calls, take advantage right now of the promo. It's still going on. So you still have anybody that signs up on akashx gets their free 10K challenge with TradexMastery. So make sure you take full advantage of that. If you want to sell fund, keep an eye on Trident. I know last week I think they had like a bonus where you put so much, they were giving you so much. So they always have some good stuff. You could always just make sure that when you sign up with Trident, make sure you reach out to the person that invited you for the link. Just accept the newsletter or whatever stuff so you get the promotions. Events, tap into the events. We have UK, we have Slovakia, we have Dallas, we have Dubai. So we have lots of events coming up. Same thing, lots of local events with your team. So make sure you're always plugging through. That's the most important thing at that point. Follow your proper risk management, follow your trading plans, guys. We've had a ton of people get funded through this month. I mean, I think this has been like, there has to be record breaking from what I've been seeing in the
Oh
chats.
yeah,
This month has to be record breaking with people with members passing their prop firms, with chat with TradeX,
for
people
sure.
doing withdrawals. Like it's been crazy, guys. So if don't get a situation to where you're getting FOMO and you're wanting to over leverage and go crazy because others are. Just use that as fuel to say, hey, if they can, I can too, and just follow your trading plan. Just follow it through. But London, Budapest, Slovakia, Dubai, Dallas. I know, Rich, you'll be over there with Marianne over there in Dubai. I'll be over here in Dallas, so you'll be able to catch us each end of that side. But yeah, really on Monday, Mindset Monday comes back tomorrow, so I'll have that there on my
Yeesh.
Instagram. I'll be back. I know I've taken off because we had events, we had this, we traveled the whole nine, so we're back. We're back. Mindset Monday is back tomorrow, and yeah, I think that's it, bro. I don't know if I'm missing anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh, I saw a question real quick about the time frames that I look at Nas on. So for Nas, again, the 4 hour for me is just such a really good spot to get a feel for like the overall picture of where we're at. Obviously you can look at daily, but it's such a far time frame for an intraday trader that like I don't really need to look at it because I just trade the one and only pair always, that I kind of already know where we're at. But for somebody jumping into any new market or any new chart, you always want to look at something like the weekly and daily to get acquainted. And then eventually you'll operate daily down, I think, if you're an intraday scalper for sure. 4 hour, I think, is that really nice sweet spot where we get a general overview of where we're at. But that's just to kind of, again, see like what's the overall trend, where are the key levels, and any major areas of supply and demand, at least the way I perceive the markets and do what I do. The operating timeframes are going to be 15-minute, 5-minute, 30-minute, like somewhere in that little bunch there for the entries. And then once I do trade management, like if we're in a position and we're up like, I don't know, 1-to-1, 2-to-1 risk to reward, I'll look at smaller timeframes like the 3-minute, 5-minute, just to kind of like see that the trade is still like the order flow is still in my direction, to know if I should pull out of the trade, let it keep running, etc. So I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do things, guys. I think over time, like you learn, like I'll say what I just said, and then you'll go on Joel's session or Lewis's session or Maddie's set. Like everybody's gonna have a different way. So at the end of the day, like you guys just need to put out like a lot of chart time. Like y'all need to pull up charts and look at charts. Like it doesn't really matter how many Sunday market outlooks you get on, how many times you go through our educator training series. Like those things prepare you and give you a foundation, but there's nothing like putting in chart time. It's the same thing if you play any sport. Like you could be a basketball player and watch a ton of footage. You can hang out with basketball players. You can sit on the bench and watch and ask the coach a million questions. But until you pick up the ball and start throwing it around, like that's really what makes you better. So you got to get on the charts and you got to take trades, even if it's on a demo or a small live account. Like scale your way into pressure if you want to, but you got to get in the game. Like there's no way around it. If the longer you wait to take more trades and like actually put your strategy to the test, you're never going to develop like the other 80%. You're only developing 20-30%. I'm gonna be honest with you. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for Sunday market outlook as far as preparing ourselves for the week. Definitely Canada was an amazing experience, bro. I'm so glad Brent got to go, man. Hey, shout out to Brent, bro, because Brent just did like his first live event. Well, he's done a live event before in Vegas, and it was like maybe 50 people, and he crushed it. And then I was like, wait, that was your first event? And now he just crushed a room of like damn near 200 people.
Yeah.
So he like 4x'd his experience this weekend in Canada, man. But I think I bring that up, guys, because I want you to take a lesson from that, right? Like, bro, Brent behaved like he'd been in that room 100 times. And the mindset lesson, that's why he runs Mindset Mondays, and I tell people to get on him, because like he embodies what it's like to be what you need to be as a trader, which is you can't have fear, bro. Like if you're gonna be a scared trader, you're gonna fail. I'm gonna just be honest. Like you have to do like set yourself up through education, you know, demoing, whatever you gotta do to build your confidence, because you can't be shook like that when you're trying to enter positions, especially when you see all these trade alerts going in and tap to trades. Like it's gonna feel intimidating, but you gotta get past that fear barrier, right? And so like to see this dude get in front of the room in front of hundreds of people and just like crush it. I mean, there's a reason why he's the educator. There's a reason why you guys trust him with trades and advice, right? So not just to toot his horn, guys, but like I'm just saying it to inspire you guys to like step up, bro. Like Brent doesn't do comfortable things. Like Brent wasn't even supposed to be at the event, and he found a way to get there. Then he never spoke in front of a stage that big, and he still did it. And he did it without folding under pressure. Like nobody even people, bro. You ask anybody there, they would have thought that dude have done presentations like that 1,000 times. A lot of us on this call are scared to show trading to our mom. Like I'm just saying, bro. Like if you want to level up in akashx, like you gotta if you're scared to talk to people about what you do, I just don't see how you're gonna be successful at trading. Like because you don't believe it. I'm telling you, until you believe it in your subconscious that you're gonna be successful, it's not gonna happen. And if you can't talk to people, I'm not saying you guys gotta be recruiters, guys. I want to be very clear with what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is that if you don't have the confidence to embody like what you're doing, it means you don't really fully believe yet. You're kind of working on it, but until you fully believe, it won't happen. It's a very tricky thing. Like if you don't believe that it's gonna work 100%, you don't need to know how the hell it's gonna happen. But if you just know, like, I'm gonna make this happen for sure, your attitude and energy about you speaking to people about it and doing it is gonna be way different. Way different. So I always try to use examples other than just myself. Like I'm showing you through what I saw in Brand, what I saw through a lot of speakers at this weekend at this weekend's event. And I'm gonna just say this, like, this is why you need to be at events, because there's a lot of connections that we just made other than the experience, like the experience of being in a new culture, new country, meeting new people, exchanging contacts, stepping out of our comfort zones, speaking on stages. Like, guys, find your discomfort zones and start attacking them, even if they're small. Because if you don't do that, you're blocking your own growth and blessings. All right. So you have the chance to get to either UK, Dallas, Dubai, Slovakia. I know some of these are like really outlandish zip codes. I do get it, right? But Dallas, I'm sorry. Like if you're in the US, you can get to Dallas. I'm just saying. So you guys can make excuses. You can find reasons why you can or can't go. Brent had very valid reasons to not be in Canada. You could think, oh, he's an educator, though. Oh, he's, this is what he does. Of course, he's supposed to be there. No, he's still a human being with family, kid, responsibilities, finances, all that, right? No one's exempt, including the people you see on the stages. They just are the ones that find a way to get to places and to do things, even when life doesn't allow them to, right? So I'm gonna leave you off with that. The rest of the mindset stuff you're gonna do tomorrow on Brent's live session on Instagram. But if you guys do want to catch the event, I know that MDC posted some content about the event. I know Maddie, all of us have kind of posted some of the stuff on Instagram. I have a vlog as well on YouTube if you guys want to check out some of the behind the scenes stuff. There's some really funny moments that we have on there between Brent and Maddie and the whole squad. So you guys can definitely check that out on YouTube. But man, always glad to be here on Sundays, guys, with you. I hope that you guys got some value from today's call. We'll see you throughout our live sessions on the chats and everything like that. But Brent, bro, appreciate you. You got any last words before we head out of here?
Thank you, bro. No, I mean, you crushed it right there at the end, bro. Like, what can I say
Nah, I
better
gotta
now,
let
bro?
them
I'm
know
good.
about Brent,
Just
bro. I gotta let them
come
know
back,
about Brent.
just come back tomorrow. That's about it. No, for real. No, it's been an amazing journey, bro. And like you said it, I mean, you 100% add to the fact it's crazy, guys. Like, I haven't done this before, so like I tell a lot of people think like, oh man, for how long you been an educator? Like for 18 months. Like I haven't done this before, and sure I've been in sales, but it's easy to sell behind on a phone, right? One thing is you're actually walking in, and again, I think a lot of times in my life I've put myself in those situations. Even when I went into the army, I didn't really know what I was getting into when I was boot camp. I didn't know that in Georgia in the summer it was hot. I did not know that. I ended up in Georgia and 3 o'clock in the morning you could crack an egg on the floor and it cooks. I did not know that, but you just go and you do it. And that's really what came into the situation here with Toronto, right? I wasn't going. I wasn't going. I had a lot of situations, all reasons why not to. And I still, Rich, thank you, bro. Thank you, Marianne, obviously pushing. I think obviously to my wife too, where she was like, just go, I'll hold it down, we'll figure it out, just go. So obviously thank you guys, because if not, I wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for you guys. And yeah, it was a situation until where I thought that I was just going and I made it last minute to go support everybody, sit in the crowd. And the next thing you know, as we're going to the airport, it's like, oh, hey, by the way, Brent, this is what you're talking about. You got 50 minutes. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? Shout out to my wife. She helped out with the presentation and everything as I'm traveling. We get to the event. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like a Vegas event. We'll probably see like 50 chairs. Probably open the door and it's like, yo, why there's so many chairs in here? What's going on? Or like, did we get into the wrong room? Or like, no, this is the room. Like, oh shit. But you just get up there and you do it. But more importantly, like I say, it's a situation that it's not for you. And I love that you said that, Rich. We're not trying to recruit people, but when it comes into trading, when you guys don't have to pay, you get your 3 and free, your trading becomes so much better. when you're using other people's money, but other people's money, so like you're getting commissions to pay for your prop firms, that changes. But at the end of the day, what really changes the fact that like why I do what I do and why I get excited. And I say it's not a fame situation, right? But I do it because I love, there's no better sensation, guys. And I'm super grateful for the opportunity to be here in akashx and do what I do to live this moment, right? Where somebody comes up to me and I have no idea who you guys are. You're like, oh my God, Brent, it's you. Thank you so much. Like, and it's not even just the fact of let me take a picture, right? That's still kind of so weird to me
Hey, you
still to
even
the
got
day.
some merch,
But
bro.
it's more of like, I know we gotta do that. Oh yeah, I got some merch. I should put that on. I'm super sweaty right now. I was outside, so I didn't want to get it dirty, but I'm gonna put it on Monday. I got my merch. But it's more of just getting those stories of like, yeah, because of akashx and what you do in this, and I've been able to do X, Y, Z. Like that's why you do it. So understand that you guys have that opportunity to too. Even if you are not an affiliate, not trying to recruit, understand that not only are you impacting your own life, but you actually have the power to impact somebody else's life drastically through what we're doing here. And that's why at the end of the day, why we do what we do, and that's why we have the passion of what we do. Rich and I, we could be off in an island by ourselves trading and we'll be fine. Like we're good. We do this because we actually want to help others. We want to make a difference at that point in everybody's life. So thank you guys obviously for being here during these calls, for having me and following me all this time now. Rich and I, we've been the OGs, I think, which is I think it's only like 3 of us, I think, now from the day one. So we've still been here rocking
Damn,
it
is
out
it
to
really
the
only
end. So
3?
it's just I think so. It's
Oh, it's
just
me, you, Joel, Maddie,
so four. So four.
4. Yeah.
It's just the 4 of us that have been rocking out since day one. So it's been an
Wow.
absolute pleasure. Grateful to still be here and still be able to say that. So let's close this year out strong, guys. We still have plenty of time to hit all of our goals that we set in January. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Mindset Monday on Instagram at 7 Central Standard Time. Catch us both, Rich and I, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on akashx. I'm on at 8 o'clock Central. Rich is on at are you 8 or 7? I always forget that you switch it.
7 Central
7 Central.
at
You need to switch
night.
it to 8, bro, to like make it to where it's like easy for me. That's why I always get confused. So I'm on 8 a.m. Central and Rich is on 7 p.m. Central, the same days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So make sure you catch us on live and everybody else too. But that's it. Peace. We
All
are
right,
out.
y'all. Much love. Appreciate everybody here. See you guys. And let's run it up.